I don't know. He was on a call today. I know he was on a big call today with all the executive directors or whatever.
How do you know about that one?
I got my hand in everything.
See, Yaakov, a friend of mine's father was
what are the
today.
executive directors scheming now?
I wasn't part of the meeting. I just know about the meeting. What do you say? Who's saying something?
If you could, a friend of mine's father was nifter today from coronavirus.
Oh, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Your roommate, no?
Yeah.
Today I sent out 3 Hilchos Avelis cheat sheets.
Very good.
So, yeah.
Never.
I know. It's terrible.
Rivka, how do I write a note?
Oh, was Corona? I didn't want to ask him.
It was Corona. It was Corona. His father was sick for a long time.
His father was not well for a long time.
Right. Once he got it, you knew it wasn't going to end well.
Yeah, terrible. Okay. Should be a schus for the neshama. Okay.
Main.
So we should only have Sudas types. Okay, so Daf Ayin Daled, we discussed Boirer, right? And again, just to chazer because it's important. Basically, if you want to not have your Boirer issue, so what you do is make sure you're taking the good from the bad and take it for immediate use. And you can't do it with any sort of utensil. That does not include forks and knives or whatever, right? Spoons, forks, and knives. But other than that, you will be saved from all the Boirer situations, right? And then it's also, then the Gemara goes through 2 examples of where the thought that there would potentially be an opinion that says you take good from bad and it would be Boirer, and then we say it's not. And on the base, we discussed grinding, then why it says baking and not cooking, because they're really in the Mishna they did cooking, not baking, because we said it was just doing the order of pas. Then we talked about putting different pots in, heating them up in ovens, right?
Didn't they do, what's it called, bread? Or did they bake bread for shulchan?
Yeah, but it's stuff that was involved in the creating of the Mishkan, not what went on in the... we're going to discuss that tonight. We'll get to that tonight a little bit. Then the different numbers of carbonas that are required to be brought when you make a barrel, an oven, a basket, a cover of a basket, right? It was 8. How to go 8, 11, 7, 8, 11, 13, right? Right. Then the shearing a sheep and cleaning it when the wool is still on the sheep. Then we said 3 carbonas are brought if you pluck the feathers of a bird. Fine, that's what we're up to. Then we're up to kosher and matir. Yeah, so on Ayin Daled Amid Beis. HaKosher v'Amatir, yeah? It's about 10 lines up from the bottom by the 2 dots. So HaKosher v'Amatir, if you tie and untie. Ashira b'Mishkan heicha havoy. Yeah, you have it, everybody? Right, so where was tying in the Mishkan? Amarava sheken kosher b'Yiseidus Oilim. What they did is they had to tie down the nail. You know, when you make a tent, so you tie down strings to a, what do you call the thing? To a, not a peg, maybe a peg, a stake. Let's use a lashon that goes well on this stuff. A stake, yeah?
Wasn't fast enough, but I did yell. I wasn't fast enough on the unmute, but I yelled steak.
Okay, steak, yeah. That's always on the tip of your tongue anyways, literally, so that's not no chiddush, right? So they tied it to the stake. So then Gemara says, Ahu kasher manas lahatiru. That's not a permanent knot. That's a knot that you know you're going to untie because they're going to move the Mishkan. No, so those that sewed the urias, the curtains, so if something got broken, so then they would tie it up. So good. So that's when they tie in the Mishkan. What about untying? And if you're going to say that what happens if two strings, I don't know, strings is a better word for that, 2 threads, right? Break, right? And you're going to want to tie them to each other, and you're gonna untie one and then tie another one. Meaning, every time you're playing around with sewing, so you have to untie, you have to tie. So the Gemara says, in front of a melech bas of dam, you wouldn't ever start tying strings and untying strings. You get yourself a new string, right, to make it look proper. You're not going to start doing shtick to tie things together. So you wouldn't do that for a regular king. So of course you wouldn't do that for Hashem. No, so they needed to have the chilazon in order to dye all the curtains, so they had to catch it. So since they had to catch it, so when you're catching fish, you have to tie and untie netting, right? Good.
So Yaakov, is that kosher almanas? Is that matter almanas licture?
Well, I think when you're doing a permanent,
no, meaning the opposite. If you are, do you have to be matter in order to retie it? Like similar to be Saish almanas libnos.
You do, yes, you do.
The Mishna doesn't say it, yeah?
Yeah, you do have to. Yeah.
So the people who end up with chilazon being a snail learn this Gemara or not?
I don't know how they answer that. Now you're asking, that's a loaded question, right? The Rai is back and forth with the whole, yeah.
It's definitely not Rashi here, that's for sure.
Yes, right. Yeah, 100%. Unless they say that they needed to catch them in the netting.
Rashi says dag cotton.
Right, so again, they're going to say that means a fish.
Snail is not a small fish.
Correct. Yeah, I hear. Okay, if you sew 2 stitches, it's not going to last. No, of course, you have to tie them. You just make 2 stitches and you don't tie them, so that's meaningless. It's just going to fall out, the stitches. Fine. If you tear in order to sew, where was there tearing in the Mishkan? So if you have one of the curtains that this darna worm fell into it and made a hole, so the way you sew it is that you cut the hole open a little bit more, and then you're able to sew it so it looks nice. If you pull on the string in order to get it to be tighter, then you're going to be chayiv chatas. Right? Yeah, that's meaning like, I don't know if this is like when your tzitzis get loose and you pull them tight, you pull the knots tight. I don't know if that's exactly what this is, but
sometimes you do it out of habit on your talus.
Right.
I think it's I thought it was talking about a case where you have a seam and you pull the bottom string and the seam gets tighter.
Yes, that's what it is.
The entire seam.
Right. But I just wonder if you can learn out from that tzitzis is also a problem, that you're tightening it. Well, I guess here you're not even knotting it. There by tzitzis you're tying your knot. You're at least tightening the knot. Okay.
Oh, we say by tzitzis you're supposed to do it Erev Shabbos, so you don't come to tighten it on Shabbos, right?
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Not Makeh bipatish that.
Yeah, maybe. You're certainly not supposed to do it on Shabbos.
Or you just put super glue on the outside knots.
Yeah, that's a cheap way out, but yes, that works.
Rasheinberg liked it.
Right, you spoke to him about it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, weiter. Now this next thing is just brought agav. Okay, somebody who learns something from a mogush is chayav misa. Okay, we'll get to this. Right? And if you if you know how to calculate the constellations and all those type of things and you don't do it, then it's also also to learn from him. Meaning if Hashem gives you a God-given talent in order and to be able to learn things of the wonders of the world and you don't do it, then that's considered that's something wrong. Yeah. Now, what is a mogush? One says it's a charshi kishuf, and one says chadam gedufi, right? And the gedufi is an apikores. Okay, this time the Rav Domer gedufi. Let's see that it was Rav that said he's an apikores. Anybody who learns anything from a mogush is chayim misa. This agdai the charshi, right? If you're going to say that it's a guy that does sorcery, you're not allowed to learn from him how to do the sorcery. You are allowed to learn what the sorcery is to teach people. So therefore it must be. So now what is this magush? This is an important Gemara, right? Not Rabbi Shua Marchik is not so important, but it's important. Yeah, which is that you can't learn anything from an apikores. Rashi says, even if it's dvar Torah, you're not allowed to learn it from an apikores because he's going to be mamshich you towards apikores, right? That's where you get this whole thing that some wanted to say jastro was an apikores, so therefore you're not allowed to use a jastro. You guys don't even know what a jastro dictionary is, probably, right? Yeah, nobody knows what a jastro. Art Scroll Crane blew them right out.
I have one.
I remember a jastro.
Hey,
I still have one too.
A guy with a bad case of Baal Tshuva syndrome that always put it backwards and upside down.
right.
So
Everyone in the yeshiva uses jastro. Jastro is the yeshivish way of using art scroll. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Jastro is the professor.
Right, the professor. But the yeshivish, Akiva, the yeshivish didn't use it because they said he was an apikores.
Yaakov in high school, everyone used it. I'm telling you,
I'm
the
just
yeshivish
saying, but the
places
yeshivish didn't use it because it was whatever.
You would put it on the floor when you were done, but you still used it.
Yeah, okay, that I didn't do. I used it regularly. Supposedly, the Rabbi Freifeld said it doesn't come from him. I think this is my father's going to tell me. He said that he stole it from somebody else. He was an apikores taka, but his whole thing was plagiarized. So Mamela, you can use it. That was his.
That's the most yeshivish thing I've ever heard.
Okay, whatever it is. So the question is, can you taka learn? Let's say somebody's an Avarian. It has come up, and we're not going down this road. Okay, but let's say a rabbi who wrote Svarim, right, and then it ends up that he is not legit. So can you learn from his Svarim, or do you not? Right? I don't know how that falls into with.
I don't understand how that. Our Gemara is just talking about a guy who's trying to be mamshich by the zar.
No, that's an apikores.
Yeah, but learning from his sefer,
Somebody's
he's
trying
not
to be mamshich you.
An apikores not trying to be mamshich you.
Not dafka.
Of course they are. Now you want to say that not being mamshich you by the zara. Okay, I hear that.
That'd be number one. But number two, said every time you have an apikores, he's trying to tell you to.
Of course, isn't anybody always trying to convince everybody of their opinions?
No, not when it comes to religion.
Are you serious?
Not
Let me ask you a question. Should we throw it out there? Does anybody think we should have Alto Minyanim or not? Let's see if anybody has an opinion.
Not.
Definitely not.
I went to one last night. Does that count?
My school just sent out an email that they're working on putting it together.
There you go.
For people.
I'm just saying,
only outdoors.
But my opinion has nothing to do with outdoor or indoor, Tzviako.
What?
Mine doesn't matter outdoor or indoor.
Yeah.
My school just sent out a text that they're trying to.
I actually find it much more convenient for it to be
25.
Wow.
Anyways, it's much more convenient to not be able to go to shul.
My point is that everybody's always trying to convince everybody that they're right when it comes to
that's but that's what. And then let's look. So, can you have a not from teacher teaching a school?
That's not pashut. I don't think that's pashut at all.
Teaching math.
Even math.
I'm saying he's not trying to.
Oh, this is going in a tangent that's going to take forever.
Yes.
Is the Gemara only talking about Avodah Zarah? Is the Gemara only talking about Avodah Zarah though?
It says minam mamshicha l'avodah zarah.
Rashi says hilchot kol dvar divrei avodah zarah. It seems like it's focusing on avodah zarah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I told that to Sora.
Nowadays we're worried about
also it has to be that he's the type of guy. He's an active missionary.
What?
He's an active missionary. That's what it sounds like.
That's
what Rashi says.
I know, but that's the way Rashi says it. But it's somebody who is an apikores.
Yeah, well, obviously a regular from guy is not going to do it.
You never know. Yeah.
I thought he was asking you something else. What about, you had Taka have an apikores, but he wrote Svarim. The Svarim aren't trying to be mamshich you, so talking to him in person, I can hear, I can understand.
No, but that's what the Rashi's for sure saying that. Even Dvar Torah, it's also to learn from him.
Directly.
What about?
Are you saying a
what about
sefer is
Ashira?
not?
Yeah, a conversation is one thing, because then he might be mamshich.
Question: What happened with Rav Yochanan?
What about Rameir and Acher?
I didn't have a chance to look it up today in Shulchan Aruch. I don't know.
Yaakov, what about Rameir and Acher? Didn't the Gemara say that you should still learn from Acher?
Yeah. So you got to look in Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch discusses it. The Noisei Kelim on the Shulchan Aruch discuss this. I forgot to look it up today. Or maybe tonight.
I'm saying that's the biggest raya that you could still learn from him if he has.
Right. So it says an Adam Gadol. It says an Adam Gadol can. An Adam Gadol is allowed to. We're not worried.
Because he can know the difference.
But Lamaisa, the Noisei Kelim and the Shulchan Aruch say that nowadays nobody's a big enough person to bypass that.
And what's the mashatosh of apikores?
What's the problem with that? That doesn't mean you should learn from an apikores. No.
You mean?
You have to know what to answer him. You got to know what to answer him. But yeah, okay. So let's see. Okay. Amar Rav Shimon Pazi, Amar Rav Shimon Levi Mishum Bar Kafra. Kol yedei lechashiv b'tkufas and mazalas ve'ena chayshivs. Anybody who knows how to calculate the tkufas and the mazalas and it doesn't do it, Allah v'kasavayim b'es payal Hashem lo yabitu u'maisa yadav lo yiro. The works of Hashem you didn't see and you didn't look at, and the maisa yadav lo yiro you never saw them. Right? Mina Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani Amar Rav Yochanan Minayin shemitzvah ala adam lechashiv tkufas and mazalas. How do you know that it's a mitzvah that for a person to do these type of science things? The pasuk says you should watch and you should do that the Torah is chachma and understanding in the eyes of the nation. So what's chachma bina and what's a chachma and a bina that's in the eyes of the nations? It means calculating science, doing tkuvas and mazalas. So now, this doesn't mean that this is a proof that you can go to college, right? And we really want to go down this one, right? It just means you have to learn the tkuvas and mazalas through the Torah. Everything is in the Torah. It doesn't mean that you should start going to MIT's, whatever, because they have a great science program or whatever it is, because everything is in the Torah, right? Okay. I got no comments from that one. Let's move it right along. Okay,
you want comments?
Right.
It doesn't give you the credence. It's not going to be because nobody's going to listen to you if you don't have the digits at the end of your name.
I hear. All right, whatever it is. Listen, you know who can disprove that? Rabbi Belsky is a chronologist, right?
But he wasn't Le'enei
Ha'amim. He once called NASA. And he was right about a new star or something. And they said, you ever heard that story? Whatever it is. There was also a story with somebody who, one of the Gedolim said he wanted to go see the Swiss Alps because Hashem's going to say, I created Swiss Alps and you never saw it or something like that. That there's also an Indian not only to make cheshbainis, there's also an Indian to see all of Hashem's wonders.
Risham Shofar Hirsch, they said.
Was it Risham Shofar Hirsch? Okay. I'm saying, what I really am trying to say is that it's not necessarily bittul Torah to sit outside and look at the stars and all that. In this very, very frum right-wing atmosphere of everybody's got to down with a minion, everybody's got to do that, we got to do that. It's also like you got to learn. Looking at the stars is bittul Torah. It's not bittul Torah. Not bittul Torah. Okay, Hatzad Tzvi. Somebody wants to capture a deer.
You did make a comment before that if somebody has a talent and he doesn't use it, that's a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
What does that come to from this Gemara?
No, it's along the same lines. Hashem gives you
what's considered a good talent to him? Meaning he might not feel that he has a good talent, but you might feel he has a good talent.
So that's it. When this comes up, actually, by a guy who has a good voice to be a chazan. The poskim say, I don't have Mar Makamis on it off the top of my head, but I could look it up. And it says there that if you have the ability to be a chazan and you're not, then it's not good things. That means you're wasting a God-given talent. Now you may answer and say, "Hey, I'm not."
You're being recorded.
Yeah, so therefore,
you're the chazan.
Okay, and so I'm the chazan, right? So that's by hook or by crook. I don't know if it's good enough, but I am, right? But it's don't worry. It's not good if you insist that you have a good voice and nobody likes it. It's also not good.
Right? Yaakov, what about someone who could be a rav or rosh yeshiva and they don't want to be?
You know what I'll answer to that one? You want to look at my phone and tell me which part I'm not doing?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay. I
know
know
you're gonna win. You're gonna win that one.
Okay, so that's all. Yeah.
We did have a Gemara earlier in the Masechta though, saying that if you went ahead and stopped to go ahead and gaze at the trees or nature, and that you're over, or you're bittul Torah.
Right. That's right. Was that in Shabbos or Brachas?
I thought it was in Shabbos.
I don't know. Okay, good.
It sounds like a Brachas Gemara, but I think it was in Shabbos.
That's a good question. You hear what he's asking? It says if you're middle of learning and you say kamanoe, whatever this, kamanoe that. So that I think is talking about when you're in the middle of your learning and you're not doing it to advance the science.
I think it was in Shabbos when we were talking about David HaMelech, no?
Was it then? Yeah.
He heard the trees and he heard something, and that's when he ran out, and that's when he died.
Right, but was that what it was?
We had that in both Masechtas.
Right, that's true. What do you call it? But that I think is when you're in the middle of learning and you're just doing it for the beauty of it. But if you want to go outside and actually, work on it, then it's not. That's what I think.
You're saying it's an avodas Hashem kind of a zach.
Correct. Yeah.
They bring down from the Ramban. It says in this Gemara that it's not an actual mitzvah to do this. It's if somebody who has a talent and the chush for it and knows how to do it, then he should go ahead and utilize it to see a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Similar to the way Avram recognized the Kadosh Baruch Hu through the mazals and all that.
Right.
Jacob, it seems the Rabbanim came to a decision.
Did they? Why?
I mean, they're good. That's open tomorrow morning for Shacharis already.
Is that so? Peretz had a good idea. He wants to make a Meir of 12:01 tonight. That would be the.
Yes. You gotta wake the Bostoner back up.
Hold on, which good is open?
That good is open. Only 10 people per minyan. Gloves, mask, the whole thing. You have to sign up. You have to sign up with the president. Only for members.
Yeah, I hear. Okay, that's basically what the shuls are gonna do. That's what I think the shuls are gonna do. Right, they'll have staggered minyanim, and that's the way it is. Yeah. Okay.
Aaron, what about the young Israel?
Peretz, when are you starting construction?
Peretz, the young Israel, they're going to wait for 10 people to sign up to come daven, period.
Somebody was telling me his shul, they have the most room, and they can accommodate all the people because they have the most room. I said, I'm sorry, I think the young Israel has more. One person for 4 tables.
Okay. All right. Let's go. We ain't going to bring the gula this way. All right. Let's go. Hatzad tzvi. Yeah, somebody who captures a tzvi. Talking about hatzad chilazon. If you capture the chilazon, v'apoitzoi, ein chayav alachas. And poitzoi is your you squeeze out the juice from it. The juice is not the right word, right? Ein chayav alachas. Rabbi Yehuda Omer chayav shtayim. Rabbi Yehuda says you chayav 2. So Rabbi Yehuda Omer petzia bichlal disha. Because pitzia is considered disha. Dosh is threshing, right? Meaning because you're getting dosh is the shot that you're taking the right when you take the chaff from the wheat, so you're busting it to separate the chaff from the wheat. So here you're separating the blood, which is blue, or however it is, from the thing. So from the snail or the fish, the dog caught. Number like ain't pitzia b'chlal disha. He told back to him, no, pitzia and disha are 2 different things. Amar Rabba, my time with the Rabbanon. What's the reason for the Rabbanon? Kasavri ain't disha elul gedule karka. You can only be chayav on dosh, which is threshing on something that grows from the ground, but not from a fish that doesn't go from the ground. Oh, why aren't you chayav because you killed it? Right, netilas neshama, you took its neshama. Rabbi Yochanan says that you did it when it was already dead, so you're not chayav for. Yeah, so Rabbi Amar.
But didn't you catch it? Did you catch it while it was alive? So at some point you killed it by bringing it out of the water? It must have
died by itself, I guess.
Oh, you caught it on Shabbos.
And that's not true. The Gemara is talking about where at tzad chilazon v'apoitzei. You're doing both. The question is whether you're chayav 2 or 1.
No.
If you catch it every Shabbos, you're not going to chayav 2.
It must have died by itself. Yeah, according to this teretz, right?
If you were to bring out if you catch a fish on Shabbos and you bring it out of the water, you're not causing it to die.
Sure you are, but it might be a groma.
So then you're not chayav for that.
It might be a groma.
Groma.
Yeah.
Wait, if netilas neshama is the dam, Taisus has like three drachim in
right. So that's we're going to see by Shchita. We're going to have to see Shchita. What exactly? It's the next. We have to see the next Gemara too.
That's this. If this Gemara would be right, that it's a tzos dam. So if it died by itself by pulling it out, there's no netilas neshama.
Correct. So we have to see the next Gemara about Shchita, and let's wait to see the next Gemara. Rabba Amar Afilu Tema.
It's Taisus there, by the way. There's Taisus. I think this guy. It's Hatzar chilazon.
What?
I think Taisus.
So we have to see what's a Gemara Viter and a Gemara way on Kuf Zion. But so let's go. Rabba Amar Afilu Tema Shapatzu Chai. Rabba says no. It could even be that you're squeezing it out when it's alive. Misasek hu eitzel netilas neshama. This is a loaded line right here. It's misasek by netilas neshama, meaning you don't want it to die. Rashi says because if it's alive, the blood that you're squeezing out for the dye, right, is much fresher, much better if the thing is alive, if the fish is alive. So really, you're a misasek because you don't want it to die, right? So therefore, you're going to be potter on netilas neshama. Right, Abai and Rabba are both Maida, and this is an important rule. This is the first time we have it. We're going to have it a lot, though, but we don't have so much time to discuss it. Psik Reisha V'lo Yomas is really a question. Are you going to cut off a chicken's head and it won't die? Of course it's going to die. Meaning, if you want to kill a chicken in order for a kid to play with the chicken's head, right? So the reason why you're cutting off the chicken's head is that's the way they did it, Maish. What should I tell you? They didn't have PS4s and all that chazarai back then. So they needed to give chickens chicken head. What?
So the kid's gonna be scarred.
Well, let me tell you, this is what they did with it. They were cutting off the chicken's head to play with it on Shabbos. So you're not really interested in the chicken dying. So your kavanah is just to get a chicken head. So the Gemara says, yeah, but it's very nice that your kavanah is not to kill it, but psik reisha v'lo yomas, you're going to cut off its head and it won't die. Of course it's going to die. So therefore, you're going to be chayiv because that's an automatic result, right? That's what you ever hear. You see people say, on Shah, it's a psik reisha, it's a psik reisha. Yeah, when it's a psik reisha, even though it's unintentional, but therefore you're going to be chayiv on it, like dragging a bench through the dirt, like we discussed many times, right? If it's not going to automatically make a hole in the floor, so then it's not a psik reisha because it's not going to for sure happen. But if it's for sure going to make a hole in the ground, then that's psik reisha, the lo yomas. We call it in the yeshivish terms, it's just called psik reisha. But really, it's psik reisha, the lo yomas. You're going to cut off his head, it's not going to die. So here too, what do you mean? How can you say his kavanah was not to kill the fish? You're squeezing out the guts of the fish. Of course, they're going to die. So Gemara says, the comment islein neshama tfei nichale. No, but here it's different because he does want the fish to stay alive, so that he could save the dye. So therefore, it's a psik reisha deloy nichale. It's a psik reisha. He does not want the result, which makes a big difference in halacha when you have something that's a psik reisha that you're happy with the end result, and a psik reisha where you're not happy with the end result. I'll tell you the most classic example is if you leave the light on in your fridge. So all you're doing is opening the door to the fridge in order to get to your food, but a light automatically turns on. So that's a psik reisha because when the door opens, light turns on, right? So that should be a problem. But the question is that a psik reisha nichale or loy nichale? Meaning, are you happy that the light turns on in the fridge, or you can care less that the light turns on in the fridge, right? If you could care less about what?
Is that going to be based on the aruch's taich of loy nichale?
Well, that's a different thing. But yeah, possibly. But meaning, if you can get something to be psik reisha, loy nichale, like here, then it's already much more lenient. Right? So here, even though he's going to be killing the fish, but he doesn't want it to be. How's the fridge loy nichale? If you don't care about the light. Some people could care less to have a light in their fridge. Other people are very happy to have a light in their fridge.
So over here, since
here you don't want the animal to. But I thought always you don't want it.
Correct.
Here with the animal, it's better when it's. So you don't care for the light. You don't care for that. You don't not want the light. Want it. Shabbos.
That's part of the ish. That's part of exactly what's nichale, and how you define it. But yeah, what we're saying here, we're saying here that loy nichale is more makel from here. From this Gemara's mashma psik reisha loy nichale is going to be okay.
No, the question is over here is the fact that it's loy nichale makes you back into being a mesasek.
Right, so that's right. And then the question is this loy ichpas lay or loy nichale? Meaning, could he care less about it or not? But it's a little late, so we got to get going. Yeah. If you shecht it, shecht b'shum mai chayev. Why are you chayev for shechting? What did you do wrong? Right. So Rav Amar b'shum tzeveya. Right. The reason why shechting is no good is because you're dyeing the skin around the neck of the animal when you shecht it. Shmuel Amar b'shum netilas neshama. Like we said before, it's not because of dyeing; it's because you're taking out the neshama. Right. Now, again, what's the Gemara's kavanah? What do you mean, shaychit mishum mai? They shechted for the Mishkan, so that's why you're not allowed to shecht. Right? So what Rashi says is no, meaning the Shchita was not necessary. All they needed were the skins. They weren't eating. They weren't, the reason why they shechted animals was to get the skins, right? For the walls and for the stuff like that. So for that, you could have just choked the animal. You didn't need to shecht it. So why is Shchita awesome? So we say, okay, really, Shchita is only also because of dying, right? Not dying death, dying coloring, right? And Shmuel Amar is Mishum Netilas Neshama. He says, no, it's because you're taking out the Neshama. Mishum Tzeveya in Mishum Netilas Neshama Loi. Does he mean that you're only chayiv with Tzeveya, not Netilas Neshama? Ema af Mishum Tzeveya. No, what he meant is you're chayiv even for Tzeveya. Amar Rav, Mils, this is an interesting line. Amar Rav, Milsa Damri, Ema Ba Milsa, Delay Leisu Dari Basroi Velechno Alai. Let me say something about this and explain it because I don't want the future generations to laugh at me that I said this. What do you care for you just killed the animal. Why do you care for the skins to get dyed that we're saying that it's usher? Right? What is you happy? So why you care about it? So Gemara answers, Nicha, the listus base Shchita dama. He's very happy. The listus means that it can show that the base of Shchita has blood because it looks like it's fresh. Meaning when he's trying to sell this animal that he just shechted, he can say, hey, this thing is freshly shechted. Look, the blood is still there. And therefore, people are going to pay a higher price for it. So he's very happy with the blood that goes all over the animal after it's shechted. Fine.
Going back to what you said about, maybe choking the animal, that would be better. But isn't the only reason we do Shchita is because it's quicker and there's no tsar balachayim on the animal? No,
that's true. No, you're right. But that's 100% right. That's why we do Shchita. But what we're asking is that you were saying that you're not allowed to shecht on Shabbos because they did it in the Mishkan. It wasn't a necessity for the Mishkan to shecht the animal. That's what you're saying. It wasn't. Meaning there wasn't part. We're answering the 39 malachas that they did for the construction of the Mishkan, right? But it didn't have to be Shchita.
But exactly. But if it wasn't Shchita, regardless, let's say I wanted an animal for its pelts, I wanted for its skin. I'm not allowed to go ahead and just shoot it. Let's say with a gun, or
I'm not so sure. You can't. I don't think it's usher. You may not be. It may be the most humane way to do it is to.
Then it's tsar balachayim when you shoot an animal, let it run away for a little.
I'm not sure if it's tsar. I don't know if I would go that far to say tsar balachayim, but it might not be the right way to do it. Yeah, but it's not as long as it's done
according to the Yehuda, it's clear not tsar balachayim.
Oh, the Nidda because he holds that you're allowed to go
hunting.
Yeah. Okay, but there's many that are chaylik on him that holds that you're not allowed to go hunting.
Yeah, but this is way before they get there.
No, that's true. But the point is it's a good question what you're asking. But the point is that it's not strong enough to tell you that you can't shecht on Shabbos. Meaning, because we can't say that Shchita was a necessary part of the construction of the Mishkan. Because all they needed was a dead animal. They didn't need it to be shechted. So the Gemara is answering, no, we did need it to be shechted, but shechted, and it's meaning the shechting. The truth is the Gemara is answering, it's true. You're right. Shchita was not part of the Mishkan. And it has to do with netilas neshama or dyeing the skin. Those are the two. Really, Shchita was not a necessary. Yes, it was necessary for other reasons, but not necessary for the construction of the Mishkan. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, salting and being ma'avid. Hainu ma'ilech, hainu ma'avid isn't the same thing. Salting something and being ma'avid, meaning your salt is supposed to break things down, and being ma'avid, avid is to work out the skins. So isn't that the same thing? This is what we were discussing yesterday. Okay, so let's knock one of these out of the Lamates Malachas and put in sirtut. What's sirtut? To put scratches into the skin to know exactly where to cut it. So now that's it. We just took one of the lamates malachas out of the Mishnah, and we replaced it with something else. Okay, it's very interesting that you could do that. Okay, so Amar Rav Ravuna, Haiman the Malach Bisra Chai Mishum Ma'avid. A person who salts meat is Chai Mishum Ma'avid. Rav Amar ain't Ibud Ba'ichlin. No, you can't be over on Ibud Ba'ichlin. Oh, you're going to say that we know that the halach is that you're not supposed to salt food on Shabbos. That's because it does. You're only not supposed to do it in large amounts, because then it looks like you're doing it for weekday, but really there's no issur d'oraisa to salt foods. That's why for the seder you're supposed to make the salt water before, if you can. You make it, especially when it falls out on Shabbos, you should make it before Shabbos. And that's only because you're doing a large amount, and then it looks like you're doing it as a weekday activity. Okay, Amar Rav Ashira, if you Rav Ravuna loy Amar ella de kabayle la'archa. Even Rav Ravuna that says that you're not allowed to salt meat, he only says if you're doing it like beef jerky, so that it lasts for a long time. But for your house, nobody's gonna want to take and make his food taste terrible by salting it. Meaning the only reason why you would salt it is to preserve it. Right? So a person at home for his meat is not going to do that. So therefore, it's only a problem for long term. Right? Makeh is to how do you call it? It's it's like smoothing, I think, right? To smooth, and mechatcha is to cut, right? Because you smooth the skin and then you cut the skin up. If somebody takes, they had these pillars, right? And what you did is you wanted to smooth them out to make them smooth. So you chayav b'shum makeh. Amar Rav Chia bar Abba Gimel Dvarim Sachli Rav Ashi Mishmei Rav Yeshua ben Levi. 3 things Rav Ashi told me in the name of Rav Yeshua ben Levi. Hamagar Rashi Klun Sais b'Shabbos chayav b'shum mechatech. If you smooth, right? Smooth the pillars on Shabbos, that's mechatech for cutting. Hamarech Retiya b'Shabbos chayav b'shum makeh. If you smear a bandage on Shabbos, right, you smear on like some sort of medication, that's memachik, that's smoothing. If you chisel out a stone on Shabbos, then that's Makeh bipatish, meaning after the stone rolls off the mountain, you want to chisel it and make it look nice, so then that's going to be Makeh bipatish. But we said Makeh bipatish is a hammer blow, you're finishing off the malacha. So Amar Rav Shimon ben Kisma, Amar Rav Shimon ben Lakish, Hatzor Tzura Bekli, if somebody colors a form onto a kli, meaning you take a kli and you draw some pictures on it. And if you blow a kli schukis, right, the way they made glass is they glass blowing. So if you did that on Shabbos, you're chai because of Makeh bipatish, right, which is basically, even though it's a glass already before that, but you're putting the finishing touches. A person that takes, sometimes your clothing, glima is clothing. Sometimes you have these little little threads that are sticking out from the clothing. So if you pull those out or you cut them, then it's Makeh bipatish for hani immediately to cover the. But that's only if you care about it. If you're like me and you could care less, so you go away and knock yourself out and pull it out because you don't care.
Yeah, supposedly somebody asked for Moshe that if you pee in snow, is that considered similar to the Gemara we just had? I think that was what I.
Yeah. That is a shaila in the poskim. Are you allowed to or not?
Thank you for bringing that up, Peretz. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
The shaila, is it coloring or is it writing words?
Writing words. I mean, you.
What is the shaila exactly?
No, it's coloring. It's coloring the snow. Coloring the snow.
So
the question is. Right, so that gets into what we were discussing before. Is that psik reisha loy nichale? Because you can care less to have the snow colored, I'm assuming. Right?
Unless you're making a snow cone.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, Akiva.
Yeah. I wasn't Akiva. But anyway.
Whoever that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you write 2 ICS, this is actually very interesting. So if you write 2 letters, that you chayav on, right? shouldn't it make a difference in the size of the letter? I mean, you can have a guy that writes a letter the size of a 9 by a standard piece of paper, right? The big alipes that they put it for the kids in kindergarten or whatever. So you can write one letter like that, and that's only one letter, or you can write 2 tiny letters and you're chayav for the 2 tiny and not for the big one, right? So let's see. If you write one very large letter, and it's so big that you could really put 2 letters there, potter, you're potter. But if you erase that large letter, and in that place you can replace it with 2 letters, then you're going to be chayav for erasing, right? Because you erased, and theoretically you can replace that erasing with 2 letters. This is a chumrah of erasing over writing, because for writing taka, that is the halacha, right? This is a typical example of why Hilchos Shabbos you can't explain to somebody who's not religious. You explain to somebody who's not religious, like, I don't understand. I can write one huge letter, the size like 10 feet by 10 feet, paint it, whatever. I'm not chayiv because I only wrote one letter. But if I write 2 tiny letters, then for that I am chayiv. It doesn't make any sense, right? But that's not what Hilchos Shabbos is about. It's not about how hard you work. It's about what was done in the Mishkan. And since it was not done the way it was done in the Mishkan, and the reason why it has to do with being done in the Mishkan is because if you acknowledge that Hashem is the one who controls the world, who made the world, and He made the Mishkan, and He rested on Shabbos. So that's what Shabbos is really not about rest. Shabbos is about acknowledging Hashem's existence, right? So by doing it the way it was done in the Mishkan is the way you acknowledge Hashem's existence, not having nothing to do with hard work or not hard work. That's really the answer to that. But we should dwell on that a little bit more because it's an important yesod. Okay, weiter. So
Rashi explains that if you're Makeh almanas lichtov, so it makes sense that if there's a makom for 2, that Makeh almanas lichtov.
Correct. That's exactly
right.
What
So that's logical.
Right. I'm not saying that sometimes the Gemara is not logical. I'm just saying, but
I'm saying the idea of malacha, it fits into malacha.
Yes, for that it does, but the writing part does not. The erasing part does. The writing part does not. Yeah,
because you're not doing a malacha in the creative sense.
Right. That's true. That's what's saying. That's why erasing is more machmir than writing. So I think the writing. I just want to finish the Mishna. Let me just finish. That's a loaded line right there. Any malacha that has to do with finishing off something, then that's going to be considered Makeh bipatish. Which theoretically, according to this, every malacha could be Makeh bipatish, right? Because if you're finishing something off, right? So you butter, let's say we discussed butter. So you take the black jelly bean out of the thing. So now you just finished off you didn't want black jelly beans in. Now you finish off. Maybe you're also over on Makeh bipatish. Okay, elu avos malachos, elu lafukim edu Rebbe Elazar. Why does it say elu avos malachos again at the end of the Mishnah? You already said these are the avos malachos. So saying it's coming to exclude Rebbe Elazar, who's chayiv on a tolda makamav. According to Rebbe Elazar, if you can be over on many chatayos, because he says each one gets its own. Even every tolda, every subcategory gets its own carbon, even if you already done the av malacha. Chaser achas lafugim Rabbi Yehuda done Rabbi Yehuda ma'aseh as a shayvet kamedaktik. Rabbi Yehuda added on to the 39. Here's a shita right here. Gershon, this is a shita that there was more than 39, right? He added on shayvet kamedaktik. Those are things that when you beat the loom, the loom, right? When you're setting it up, so you beat it up and you're straightening it out. So those are 2 more. Shayvet areu b'chlal mesach. Shayvet is already included in mesach, which is setting up the strings on the loom. Medaktik areu b'chlal oirid. The medaktik, when you're beating it out to make it straight, that's included in weaving. All right. So that's okay. So that's all for tonight. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Akil, what do you want to say?
Tiago, now that they've
I'm done.
Tiago, you allowed to have a kiddush or no?
Okay. What do you say, Peretz?
You allowed to have a kiddush by the shul of the davening, or is that still usher?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Don't know.
Maybe everyone should bring their own bottle.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they don't want people to congregate.
We're davening right now, yes.
Well, then they shouldn't have minyanim.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Parents, are you coming to daven? Then hang up.
No, Moshe's coming to daven. I'm going to my office.
Okay, Paris, did you get me water? Hi, Swag. How's baby Shimon?
He's doing great, thank God. Real good.